Hi friends, today we are going to talk about a person who faced a lot of struggles in his life, but he changed all into success. Yes, that's the co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born on February 24th, 1955, but as soon as he was born, he was kept for adoption and he was adopted by Paul Jobs and Clara. Steve Jobs was an entrepreneur, industrial designer, and an inventor. At his childhood days, he was very naughty and he was bored to go to school. But at the same time, he had a habit of searching and learning in things that were interested to him. Steve Jobs' father, Paul Jobs, was a mechanic. He had a car garage at his home, and there they used to take away the parts and reassemble them. Steve Jobs spent most of his childhood time in the car garage with his father. Steve Jobs was more interested with the electronic parts, and his house was located near the Silicon Valley. That became a very basic foundation for all his findings because in that Silicon Valley there was a silicon semiconductor lab. He spent most of his time with the engineers who worked on the semiconductor lab. He was always surrounded with chips, catalogs, and their books. And he also used to visit the computer club in the Silicon Valley. After that, in 1972, Steve Jobs went to the Reed College. But just in a small time, like 6 months, he quit the college just because he didn't want his parents to spend so much money just for his education. But still, he spent most of his time surrounding the college just because as he wanted to learn more about calligraphy, the art of writing letters in different styles. Soon he started to work in a company creating video games. In 1974, he traveled to India and learned Zen Buddhism. And in 1976, Steve Jobs went back to California and started spending time with his friend Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was good at assembling motherboards. At the age of 21, he found the first Apple computer with Steve Wozniak. Soon, in the next year, 1977, they found the Apple II computer, one of the first highly successful mass-produced microcomputer. After that, Steve Jobs started to work on the Macintosh, but it was not so successful. Soon, there was a clash between the board members of Apple and Steve Jobs. So, Steve Jobs was forced to come out of the company in 1985 at the age of 30. At the same year, he found Next, computer platform developing company that specialized in computer for higher education and business markets. Soon, he moved to PIXAR, an animation company, and he worked for animations for the famous movie Toy Story with Disney. After some time, there was a tough competition between Apple, IBM, and Microsoft. At that time, in 1997, Apple acquired Next. Jobs again became the CEO of Apple. He added Think Different to the Apple logo, and soon he started inventing more things like Apple iBook, Apple iTunes, and iPod. And in 2007, he introduced the first Apple iPhone. Steve Jobs supported Larry Page and Sergey Brin in the initial stages of Google, but later he thought they stole the idea from Apple and implemented it in the Android mobile. That made him very angry. In 2003, he diagnosed for cancer. One side he was fighting with his health, and at the same time he put all his effort to make Apple a great success. He not only concentrated on making the product, but he equally put effort on the packing, its logos, and the style of letters written in it. That's the reason for great success of Apple and excitement of people for every release done by the Apple. The last product he introduced was Apple iPad. In 2011, he attended his last meeting with Bill Gates and discussed about big data and cloud computing. That was his last meeting. Steve Jobs died at October 5, 2011. Friends, the great news is that most of the people heard his dead news by the product that he invented. Okay friends, as life of Steve Jobs became inspirative and motivative for many people, I will share you Steve Jobs quotes in upcoming videos. End of video. See you in the next video. Happy learning.